I am absolutely stoked. It feels really, really amazing. Firstly, because I think the stage that I'm in at the moment, a mother of two, with all of the challenges around motherhood and raising children, it feels really validating. I did a major in miniature painting from my art school. My artwork now definitely has the techniques of miniature painting, the pointillism, and then the really minute lines and dots and shading and all of that. Most of my paintings are painted, the reference is from seams of shirts or from old cloths that I find in my everyday surroundings, like my mother's old sort of clothes or my own, that they would be unraveled from the seams. That's my point of reference. As a child, I used to practice embroidery, like all of these different crafts and embroideries. I used to learn knitting, different patterns in knitting, crochet, cross stitch embroideries, running stitch. There were other different, more Hazara embroidery patterns that I used to learn, like shadow work. I especially remember in cross stitching, I used to count the wefts and then put the embroidery across and then count it again and then make a cross across from it. So I think that has helped me enormously in studying the fabric. I can vividly remember in our home where I grew up. So it was a joint family with my grandfather, grandmother, with my grandparents, my aunties and uncles. So all of these cousins, growing up. And we had these kilims, colorful kilims with these geometric patterns, which is really, I would say, it's Hazaragi. And they had this really nice wave and waft, which I as a kid, I would trace with my fingers. I would go over it on my fingers. I think those are all of the things that sort of stayed with me, which helps me in doing what I am doing today. And yeah, I think all of these things unconsciously has stayed with me. So I had 2 weeks to do this artwork, and I was like, I can do it. Spoke with my mother, I spoke with my husband. I was like, is it worth it? Can I do it? Is it worth to push myself, to do it? And they were like, my mom was like, you can do it, definitely. So yeah, so I completed it in 2 weeks. I also use my hand, back of my hand, as a palette. So that's my palette, where I take my paint, I put it on my hand, and then I mix water in it, and the brush has to be really dry. So I sort of dry the brush on the back of my hand until it's really dry, and then I put the lines on. If it has excess water in it, it just makes a mark, like a blurb of water, and it just ruins your painting. So it has to be really dry, the brush. That's why the hand is the best palette for that. I think one thing that stayed with me was from my mom, who told me to work hard regardless of the outcome. So she was like, if it's meant to be for you, if art career is meant to be for you, you just need to carry on with your hard work and focus. Then you'll get it no matter what.